Eno tried to avoid Franklin for days, but he was relentless. His calls came at odd hours, smooth, deliberate, and full of the kind of charm that could melt resolves. He sent flowers to her doorstep even when she didn't answer his messages. White roses wrapped in silk, each petal smelling like wealth. Then came the gifts. First, it was a designer watch, one she had once admired quietly at a mall in Dubai. No one had ever noticed that moment, yet Franklin did. He sent it with a simple note: for a woman who deserves the finest time. Next came the credit alerts: 10 million here, 5 million there, always labeled as for your smile. Each time her phone chimed, her heart fluttered and her mind grew foggy. She told herself she didn't need his money. She told herself she was only playing smart. But deep inside, something was shifting. She was getting used to being chased by power. At night, when she lay in her king-size bed, she would scroll through his messages, the compliments, the promises, the subtle dominance in his tone. You belong in better circles, Eno. I can show you the world. You shouldn't be hidden where you were made to shine. Sometimes she typed long replies and deleted them before sending. Other times, she stared at her reflection. You're tired already. If you cross that line with another man while she is alive, you will destroy yourself. Oh. Her voice carried a kind of fear Eno hadn't heard before. Lydia, calm down now, Eno said softly. It's just friendship. Oh. Franklin likes to spoil people. That's just it. There's nothing serious going on between us. There was silence for a moment. Then Lydia sighed deeply. Don't lie to yourself, Eno. I know that tone very well. And I know that feeling. I had it once. The thrill of being seen, the hunger to climb higher and higher. But greed never ends, so it only buries. Eno swallowed hard. You don't understand. Franklin is a different man. And he's not married. He's not manipulative like Sheyi. He treats me like I'm a queen. That's exactly what makes him very dangerous, Lydia said coldly. The devil doesn't come with horns, my dear. He comes dressed like the answers to your prayers. You think you can outsmart a covenant made with blood? The word stung. I'm fine, Eno whispered. No, you're not, Lydia replied firmly. Listen to me. Distance yourself from that man. Go low for a while. Delete the pictures and stop attending events with him. Don't let that charm drag you into something you can't escape. Oh. Before Eno could even reply, Lydia ended the call. That night, sleep refused to come. Eno tossed and turned, her mind a storm of thoughts. She thought of Sheyi, the man who once gave her everything without questions, but his voice now irritated her whenever he called. She started ignoring him, giving him excuses. Baby, I'm shooting content, she would say. Or, I'm at a brand meeting, can I call you later? But the truth was simpler. Sheyi bored her now. His attention had become predictable. His wealth no longer exciting. Franklin, on the other hand, was mystery wrapped in money. He didn't chase, he pulled. He made her feel small and powerful at the same time. Eno sat up, turned on her lamp and opened her vanity drawer. The red guard sat there quietly, her forbidden secret. She touched it with trembling fingers. If this can bind a man like Sheyi, she thought, what could it do with someone like Franklin? Her pulse quickened. She tried to shake off the thought. Lydia's warning echoed again in her head. Don't cross the line, Eno. Don't do it. She pressed her palms to her ears as if she could block the voice out, but then her phone buzzed again. Franklin's name lighting up the screen. She stared at it for a long moment, heart thudding. When she finally answered, her voice was warm, teasing. Did I scare you away? No, she said softly. I've just been busy. Busy ignoring me? He replied with a smile. She could hear through the phone. You think I can't tell? She laughed nervously. I just needed some space. Space from me? He asked. Or from yourself? The question disarmed her. Silence filled the line for a few seconds. Then he said, you are special, Eno. Don't let anyone limit you. You deserve more than being someone's secret. You deserve the world. Her chest tightened. Nobody had ever said it like that before, not even Sheyi. Sleep well, beautiful, Franklin said finally. Tomorrow, your car arrives. Car? She echoed. He chuckled. A little something. Please don't say no. The line went dead. The next morning, a brand new Bentley Batiaga stood in front of her house, wrapped in a silver ribbon. The driver handed her the key with a card that read, "For the woman I can't stop thinking about." Eno's neighbors came out whispering, recording videos. She smiled faintly, but inside, fear and pride danced together. She went inside, closed the door, and sat on the floor. Tears welled in her eyes. How can something feel so wrong and so right? She whispered. Her phone rang again. It was she. She ignored it, then switched it off. Moments later, another call came through her iPad. Lydia again. Eno hesitated and answered. Lydia's voice was startled. I warned you, didn't I? Please, not today, Eno muttered. You think I'm scolding you? Lydia snapped. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. I saw the pictures you posted. If you continue like this, you won't live to regret it. Don't sleep with Franklin. Don't even think of it. Whatever charm you used to Shay. Lydia, stop. Eno shouted. You act like I'm a child. I know what I'm doing now. There was a long silence. Then Lydia said quietly, that's what every woman says before her downfall. She cut the call. Eno sat motionless for a long time. Outside, the Bentley gleamed in the sunlight, a silent promise of everything she thought she wanted. Her hands trembled as she picked up her phone again. She opened Franklin's last message and read it over and over. Tomorrow, I want to see you. Just us. Something inside her stirred. A mix of fear, pride, and greed. Finally, she whispered, it doesn't matter. She picked up her phone and texted him back. Tomorrow works. Then she looked at the mirror and smiled faintly at her reflection. Whatever happened next, she told herself, would have to be worth it. But somewhere, deep inside, a quiet voice, the one that still sounded like her mother, whispered softly, child, not every door is meant to be opened. The days that followed was nothing short of bliss. At first, she told herself it was harmless. A little attention never killed anyone. But somewhere between his late-night calls and his casual, I miss seeing your smile, she began to imagine herself beside him, not as a side attraction, but as his equal. The problem wasn't that she didn't do better. The problem was that she did and still didn't care. Each time Franklin's driver delivered another bouquet, another luxury box, another envelope of cash, Eno felt something shift inside her. A quiet, stubborn greed whispering, this is your chance. When Lydia's voice echoed in her head, don't cross the line, oh Eno. She brushed it away. She had already made up her mind. One rainy night, Eno stood before her mirror, running her fingers over the red gold that had once tied Sheyi's soul to hers. Her reflection stared back, glowing, perfect, unstoppable. If it worked once, it will work again. She knew the rule, never bind yourself to another man while the first lives. But she had convinced herself that Lydia was exaggerating. That fear was a tool used to keep women obedient. And so, she made up her mind. It didn't take long to get pregnant for Franklin. Weeks later, she packed her bags and booked a flight to Kano. From there, she made the long journey to Zinda. The moment she stepped into the compound, the air felt different, heavier, colder. The same chants, the same herbs, the same smell of iron and smoke, but Emma smiled boldly. She went ahead with the exact same procedure. 7 days, 7 long nights, 7 more drops of blood that tied her spirit to another man. When she left, the wind howled against her back. She didn't care. She felt untouchable. On the drive back to Nigeria, she called Lydia. Guess what? Eno's voice danced with excitement. The priest didn't even recognize me. Everything went perfectly. I feel amazing. Lydia's silence stretched. You went back there? Relax, please, Eno laughed. I'm fine. You worry too much. I did everything again, and it worked. I can feel it. Eno, Lydia said. You're playing with something you don't understand. Ha! Stop sounding like a prophet now. Eno snapped. You said I remind you of you, remember? Well, maybe I'll go even farther than you ever did. Lydia sighed. Then just be very careful. Eno grinned. Oh, I'm beyond careful, big sis. I'm blessed. That evening, Eno dressed in a fitted gold gown that hugged her curves like silk poured on skin. With one mission only. Rumor had it that Franklin had been with countless women, models, politicians' daughters, influencers, heiresses, yet none had managed to keep him. None had made him commit. But Eno believed she was different. She didn't want to be a fling. She didn't want a portion of time and affection. She wanted a name that would open doors. A name that would make people stand when she entered. A name powerful enough to silence those ones that mocked her mothers. To her, marrying Franklin wasn't about love. It was about arrival. She wanted to become Mrs. Eno Jacobs, a woman whose name alone commanded respect, whose signature could move money and men alike. As she stood before her mirror, applying a touch of red lipstick, her mind buzzed with temptation and greed. Her thoughts became a storm. What if the charm worked on Franklin? By the time she drove into Franklin's Banana Island mansion, the night sky was painted with silver clouds and quiet luxury. When she entered, he smiled and stood up from the grand piano where he'd been playing softly. Wow, he said, eyes sweeping over her. You always outshine the room. She blushed. Maybe it's the lighting. No, he said, walking closer. It's you. Dinner was laughter wrapped in luxury. Candles glowed like gold dust. The scent of expensive wine filled the room. Eno tried to focus on the meal, but her mind was miles away. Each time Franklin smiled, each time he reached across the table, she wondered, is it working? Her pulse raced with each gesture. Was this attraction natural, or did the charm still carry power beyond these limits? She touched her wrist subtly, where the mixture had dried hours ago. He looked up just then, locking eyes with her, and for a fleeting moment, she felt it, that pull, that strange warmth in his gaze. It thrilled her. It terrified her. It made her reckless. After the dessert, she leaned closer, her heart beating hard against her ribs. Franklin, she said softly. He raised an eyebrow, a hint of curiosity in his calm eyes. Yes. Can I ask you something? He smiled again. Anything. She hesitated, then said the words she had rehearsed in her head all day. Marry me. He froze for half a second, then let out a small laugh, not mocking but surprised. You are serious? Yes, she said, her voice steady. I don't want to be another woman in your story. I want to be your entire story. Franklin studied her for a long moment, then stood slowly, adjusting his watch. Get your purse, he said. She blinked. Why? Let's go get your ring. Her breath caught. Wait, what? He smiled faintly. You said you wanted me to marry you. Let's make it official. They drove through the city that night in his black Rolls Royce, the city lights gliding across her face like gold. When they arrived at one of the most expensive jewelry stores in Lagos, Eno's heart raced. The saleswoman recognized Franklin immediately. "Good evening, sir," she said, bowing slightly. "What may we show you tonight?" He turned to Eno. "Pick whatever you want." Her eyes widened. "Are you serious?" "Completely," he replied. "You're not the type to settle for less, are you?" Eno's hands trembled as the woman opened tray after tray of diamond rings, each more dazzling than the last. She finally picked one that sparkled like fire, a 10-carat diamond set in platinum. Franklin took it gently, slipped it on her finger and said softly, "There. Now it's official." Eno gasped. "Franklin, I don't even know what to say." He smiled. "Then don't say anything. Just promise me one thing. Never lie to me." "I promise. I promise," she whispered. He leaned in and kissed her hand. "Good, because I don't forgive betrayal." She laughed nervously, not realizing the warning inside those words. When she got home that night, she couldn't stop staring at the ring. It caught the light with every moment, a symbol of everything she had ever wanted. She called Lydia immediately. "Lydia, you won't believe what happened. I told Franklin to marry me, and he said yes. He even bought me a ring tonight. Hey, it's huge. I can't believe how easy it was." Lydia's tone was quiet, unreadable. "He agreed just like that?" "Yes, so," Eno said, pacing her room in excitement. "He said he never met a woman like me, Lydia. I think this is it. This is the life I've been waiting for." Lydia paused for a moment, then said softly, "Eno, just be careful, please." "Careful?" Eno laughed. "For once in my life, things are perfect." Just then, her phone vibrated again. Hold on, she said quickly. "He's calling me. Let me pick up. I'll call you back." Before Lydia could reply, Eno switched the line. "Hey, baby," she said playfully. But Franklin didn't smile. The background behind him was dark, a room lit by flickering candles. Around him stood men in red robes, their faces hidden in shadow. Her laughter froze. "Franklin, what is this?" He looked at her, his voice low and steady. "Eno, I saw what you did to me." The line crackled, her hand trembled. What are you talking about?" He leaned closer to the camera, eyes burning through the screen. "You think I don't know about Zinda?" Her breath caught. What are you talking about? Frankly, what about Zinda? Please. You've crossed something you can't control, Eno. He raised his hand. The men behind him began to chant. The candles flickered violently. "You've broken a sacred place. The blood you used once has called for more." Her lips quivered. "Please, Franklin, you're scaring me." He stared at her for a long moment, then said in a voice that didn't sound human anymore, "You will pay for what you've done." The call ended. The screen went blank. And in that darkness, Eno finally realized she hadn't won twice. She had lost completely. The screen went blank. For a moment, Eno just stared at her reflection on the dead phone screen. Her eyes wide, her breath shallow, her lips trembling. Then the silence around her broke. Her knees gave way. She fell to the floor. Jesus, please forgive me," she cried, clutching her chest. Her voice shook through the quiet house like thunder. "God, I didn't mean to. Please don't let me die, please." Tears poured freely down her face. She crawled to the corner of her room, still holding the phone as if Franklin might appear again. Her heart pounded so hard she thought it would burst through her ribs. "Please, I was foolish. I didn't know what I was doing. God, I beg, forgive me," she screamed again, hitting her chest. But the more she prayed, the more the room seemed to close in. The shadows felt thicker. The air turned heavy, hot. Somewhere behind her, a picture frame fell from the wall with a sharp crash. She gasped and looked around, her breath ragged. God, please don't leave me, she sobbed, running toward the door. She didn't even bother to wear slippers. She just grabbed her car keys, wrapped a scarf around her head, and ran out like a mad woman chased by fire. It was past midnight, yet she drove through the quiet estate like one possessed. Her headlights cut through the fog as she muttered prayers under her breath. Blood of Jesus, forgive me. I didn't mean to offend you. Oh. She parked suddenly in front of a small church, the same one she always passed every Sunday without glancing twice. Tonight, she ran towards it, barefoot, banging on the locked metal gate. Pastor! Pastor, please open! I need help! She screamed. The security man on duty hesitated, startled by the sight of her. Makeup ruined, hair scattered, tears streaking her face. He rushed to get the resident pastor. Moments later, the pastor, a calm man in his late 50s, stepped out in a white robe. His eyes narrowed slightly as he saw her trembling by the gate. Madam, what is it? Eno fell to the knees, clutching his feet. Please, sir, pray for me. I did something very bad. I don't want to die. They say I will die. Please, pastor, pray for me. The pastor stared at her quietly for a moment. Then he spoke slowly. Stand up. She obeyed, shaking violently. He looked at her, deep, probing like he was looking through her skin. His expression changed. He stepped back slightly, folded his arms and said in a grave tone, I see a lot of blood on your hands. Eno froze. He continued, his voice low and heavy. I see a broken covenant, a promise that you made in darkness, and looks like it was shattered in pride. Her lips parted. Pastor, I don't know what you're saying. You're speaking in parables. What do you mean? The pastor took a deep breath. Daughter, before I pray for you, you have to confess. Whatever you've done, the blood is speaking out loud. Go and tell the truth before God and man. Until then, no prayer will save you. Hey, Pastor, I can't now. It's late. Ena whispered, shaking her head. Please, sir, just pray for me. I will confess later, I promise. He stared at her. There is no later for you. I see danger all around you. It is close, very close. She wept harder, clutching his robe. Pastor, please, I can't say it here. I will do that at home. I'll confess at home. Please, just pray for me this night, please. The pastor shook his hand slowly. The only way to break the curse is through your confession. If you hide the darkness, it will claim you. Speak now. But Eno couldn't. Her shame was too heavy. Her fear too loud. She staggered back, covering her face. I'll do it tomorrow. I swear I'll do it tomorrow. And before the pastor could stop her, she turned and ran. Barefoot, hair flying behind her, tears glistening under the streetlight. The wind howled as she drove back through the sleeping estate. Her mind was spinning. Franklin's words, the chanting, the priest's warning, the pastor's prophecy. They echoed together, mixing with the pounding in her chest. Blood for blood, broken covenants, confess now. She slammed her hands against the steering wheel. Stop! She screamed as if her thoughts were voices in the car. When she reached home, she barely made it past the gate before collapsing beside her car. The security guard rushed toward her, alarmed. Madam, are you okay? She looked up at him with wild eyes. Don't call me madam! Don't call me that! She screamed, staggering to her feet. She ran into her house, but it no longer felt like home. Every sound made her flinch, the creak of the ceiling fan, the ticking of the clock, even her own heartbeat. She started hearing whispers, faint, mocking, familiar. No. Didn't I tell you not to return? She spun around, but no one was there. Jesus, she screamed again. Please, I'm sorry now. Forgive me. Then, something snapped inside her. She tore off her scarf, her jewelry, even her gown, muttering under her breath, It's the ring! She pulled off the diamond ring Franklin had given her and threw it at the mirror. The glass shattered. Get out! Leave me alone! She screamed, backing away. But the whispers grew louder, inside her head, inside her chest, crawling beneath her skin. By morning, her neighbors heard strange sounds coming from the house. Laughter, crying, chanting, and sometimes her voice calling Franklin's name. When they finally forced the door open, Eno was gone. Hours later, she was seen on the highway, barefoot, her once golden hair tangled with dust, her gown torn. She muttered to herself as she walked under the scorching sun. Some said they heard her singing. Some said she was laughing. But those who got close swore they heard her whisper, "It's my turn now. They said 3 days. It's my turn." People gathered, watching helplessly as she roamed the street like a shadow of her former self. The same woman whose face once filled screen with perfection and pride. When Madame Imabong finally found her, she screamed so loud that even strangers wept. "My daughter! My child! My only child!" she screamed, holding her trembling body. But Eno didn't recognize her. She only kept mumbling, "I told him yes! I told him yes!" The doctors said her mind was gone. They tried treatment, prayers, deliverance. Nothing worked. And so, the girl who once ruled Instagram now roamed the streets, barefoot, dirty, whispering to herself. Her madness became her curse, her crown, and her warning to others. Even now, when the wind blows that old estate, neighbors say they sometimes hear her laughter echo faintly at night, soft, broken, and haunting. They call her Eno, the beautiful mad woman. Years later, her lifeless body was found at a popular junction, unrecognizable, barefoot and alone. People gathered, whispering in shock, struggling to believe that the once famous Eno had ended this way. No one claimed her at first. The glamour that once surrounded her was long gone, replaced by silence. They buried her quietly in her mother's compound in Uyo. The air was thick with sorrow. Madame Imabong sat beside the grave, clutching her daughter's framed picture to her chest. Her voice hoarse from weeping. "Eno, my child," she whispered, "I wish I warned you enough. This world is not what it seems." The neighbors murmured prayers. Some pitied her, others gossiped in hushed tones. "She was too proud," one woman said. She was too ambitious," another woman added. But none of them truly knew. Nobody ever knew the full story. And those who once envied Eno's life online, her travels, her luxury, her beauty, learned one painful truth. Some doors once opened can never be closed. The end. They say every blessing comes with a test, but Eno wanted the blessing without the process. She chased validation until it became her prison, forgetting that peace can't be bought with power and love can't be forced with charms. In the end, all the money, beauty, and fame meant nothing when her soul couldn't find rest. Let this story remind us what you use the wrong way will one day turn against you. No shortcut ever leads to a lasting destination. Work for what you want. Wait for what's yours. Because sometimes what glitters on Instagram can bury you in real life. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this one. And tell me in the comments, what lesson did you learn from Eno's life? Till we see in the next video. Bye!